What makes someone successful? I've been asking myself this question for as long as I can remember. Ever since I was little, I knew I wanted to be successful, but I didn't really know how I was supposed to get there. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, my school was so small that I had basically the same teacher for every subject. But she was super cool though, because I could ask her almost any question. And I would ask her the most frivolous questions like, how many marshmallows would it take to fill up Noah's Ark? And she would answer wholeheartedly as well. But one day, she asked me, Justin, how do you think that you're going to be successful? And I mean, that's a pretty loaded question for a 13-year-old. So I sat there staring at the ceiling thinking, and it was weird because usually I could come up with some random answer for any question, but this time it was different. I couldn't come up with anything. And I told her, bruh, Miss Morin, I'm sorry, I don't know. And that got me thinking, who am I? What's my purpose in life? Am I just some kid who procrastinates and turns in their homework late, thinking that they're going to be successful without putting in any work? After weeks of thinking, I finally came up with an answer, and I told her, Miss Morin, maybe it's all right that I don't know exactly how I'm going to be successful, as long as I acquire the skills that successful people have. And she told me, wow, Justin, that's actually a really good answer. But she told me, remember this, words are nothing without action. She then went on to tell me that most successful people have are three things, and that's aspiration, grit, and a growth mindset. After this, she gave me a piece of candy because my mom had come to pick me up and it was time for me to leave. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty happy moment in my life. Aspiration, in my opinion, is one of the easiest to understand, and it's when you really, really want to accomplish something. And you might already know what that is, or you might not, but it is that intrinsic motivation that pushes you to accomplish something bigger. Today, I see that a lot of people lack that inspiration and are just trying to ride the wave. And even though I also want to ride the wave of life, I want to ride the wave in a 200-foot yacht in the Mediterranean with $500 million sitting in an index fund. But aspiration is nothing without action. After aspiration, there's a growth mindset. After finding that aspiration, you need something that will keep you going even when there's hardships, and that's grit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and tell you that immediately after she told me about it, I went home and I Googled it right away. No, I mean, I wish I did, but I eventually did, and I found that grit means having a passion towards your goal and keeping with it even when times are tough. Carol Dweck found that grit is one of the key things in success. And this got me thinking I couldn't just choose anything that I thought was cool at the time, like becoming a professional Minecraft player, but I had to choose something that I actually was passionate about, and I had to keep with it. Grit is what keeps you going even when it's easier to give up. Finally, there's a growth mindset. I first really learned about this in a class called Life, Learning, and Leadership, where we studied a study by Carol Dweck, where she found that most people have either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset would think that they're inherently either good or bad at something and they can't really fix it. But someone with a growth mindset would think that they could get better at anything as long as they tried to get better. After learning about the growth mindset, I started to think how failure was keeping me back, and that if I told myself that I couldn't do it, I would just never try. But if I said that I could get better at something, then I would think of challenges as a way to learn. By changing the way I think about failure, this has made my life and school a lot less stressful. Because I see challenges as an opportunity to grow stronger and not something that defined me as a failure. Today, when I think about success, I think about these three things and how they go hand in hand. Aspiration gives you that goal. Grit keeps you going with that goal even when there's setbacks. And a growth mindset doesn't let you get discouraged by them. Someone I really look up to once told me, Justin, you're barely starting to live life. You're like a baby bird learning how to fly, about to leave its nest. And there will be setbacks in your life, I know that. But like the baby bird, you have to keep trying to fly. I used to think that most successful people were just random people who got insanely lucky. But I now know that it's about your attitude towards life and the way you handle the ups and downs. Anyone could be successful. You don't have to have all the right answers right away. You could be anyone to dream big. The last things I want to leave you with is that no matter what you do in life, make sure that you are happy with it. And I want to inspire you to think of success not always as the end result, but as the journey that you go through to achieve that, the people you meet on that journey, and the story that you will once be able to tell. For my final words on this stage, I want to say that I personally will be successful in the future, and I hope that every single one of you has got to say the same or will get to say the same. Thank you.